Mark here with another fragrance review, this time on the house of Van Cleef and Arpels. Their YouTube legend right here, Mr. Midnight in Paris. Today I'm going to be tackling the EDP, the Eau de Parfum, not the Eau de Toilette version. There's two concentrations for this fragrance. Today I'm going to be spotlighting the EDP. Now I'm going to start off this fragrance review where this fragrance got me. It got me with the flacon, the bottle. The bottle kind of gives you an illusion of our starry sky. It's actually one of the best in the game, if not the best. I really was blown away with the presentation. You should actually check out the counterpart of Midnight in Paris in the Haute Parfumerie line, which is actually the Woman's Fury. Check out the bottle on that one. That was absolutely gorgeous too. And these jewelry companies like Van Cleef and Arpels, Bulgari, they really like to emphasize on their presentation, the bottles themselves, and they should. They're a jewelry company. That's what they're proud of. So really absolutely a stunning bottle here. Now the name, the brand, where does Midnight in Paris come from? Well, it was based on the watch that Van Cleef and Arpels released for men in 2009. It was a limited edition watch from them, and it kind of cost an upwards, right now it was around $40,000, but now that it's a limited edition, not really available, it can cost you an upwards of $100,000 to buy the watch. The watch itself is stunning. If you like the bottle, go Google the watch. It's absolutely stunning. Now, if you didn't know, Van Cleef and Arpels, of course, they're a French jewelry company. They're mostly known for high-end jewels, like that, of course, that $1,000, $100,000 watch. You can tell they're very much high-end. Most of the brand in the fragrance world is mostly feminine-based, guys. You're going to see 80% of their catalog, or even 90% of their catalog, is towards women. They don't have too many men's-based fragrances. Now, I'm looking into most of them. Most of them are on Lucky Scent, and the ones that I've smelt can be also unisex, so definitely stay tuned on my channel. This one from Van Cleef and Arpels is really the highlight in our YouTube community. Everybody tackles this one and forgets about the rest of the brand, so definitely keep it tuned in. Hopefully I'll have some reviews on other Van Cleef and Arpels fragrances. But I'd love to see more men's fragrances from them. They really do well with their men's fragrances. So guys, let's get into the presentation of Midnight in Paris. Let's take a look at presentation for Midnight in Paris, the bottle and the box. I'm pretty sure this presentation right here sold a few units by itself. So let's take a look at the box here. And the first thing that really catches your eye is that midnight blue color to the box. It's a very dark tone to it. It almost looks like a moon is trying to try to come out of the dark sky, give you a little bit of light to it. Embossed is Midnight in Paris and Van Cleef and Arpels. That's it. Everything else is flush on the box here. If you take a look at the top here, you see the Van Cleef and Arpels actual logo. Turn it over. That's what you see here, and a little more information at the bottom of the box. So let's take a look at the bottle. This is, of course, the game changer right here. And as you can see, when I hold it up like this, you can see it almost has an orange yellow tone to the bottom of the bottle, and then it gradually goes to a dark blue, almost a dark purple hue to it. Very, very nice. It almost kind of reminds me of the yellow lights from, all the lights from the big city, from Paris, of course, New York, anything like that. And you're looking at the starry sky, the really midnight dark blue sky. Really nice, and as you can see, constellations here. You see a lot of detail on the cap, and of course it also says Midnight in Paris right here on the side, and Van Cleef and Arpels on the side also. And your information is, of course, also on this chrome at the bottom, and you got your batch code at the bottom right here of your fragrance. The actual atomizer, really actually pretty decent. Really good atomizer for Midnight in Paris. Take a look at bottle sizes for the EDP version. It comes in one bottle size, the one that you see here, the 4.2 ounce bottle. Retail pricing is $115 on Lucky Scent. That's what I paid for it. Now, of course, there's an EDT, like I said earlier in the review, that comes in a 2.5, I believe, and the 4.2, but the EDP only comes in the 4.2 ounce. Now, I did a little bit of research while I was doing my review, finishing it up a couple days ago, and I saw that FragranceNet.com, I'm not trying to promote them or anything, but I was absolutely blown away with the pricing. FragranceNet has, right now, as of yesterday when I checked it out, they have the EDT and this version right here, for under 50 bucks. That's retarded. It's retarded cheap right now. So if you're really interested in this fragrance and you've been wanting to get it, go on that website if you trust them and purchase this. The EDP version is under 50 bucks. I paid $115, so I consider myself a sucker right now. Now, Midnight in Paris hit the shelves back in 2010. Has it been any in my top 20 list? No, but in no way does that tell you the whole story on how I feel about this fragrance. I really absolutely love this fragrance. I think it's stunning, but it just never made one of my top 20 list. That happens. Group, this is an Oriental fragrance. Parfumier is a two-headed monster. We got, of course, Mr. Olivier Pudge that has done absolutely stunning fragrances, and of course, Domitil Berthier. Recommended age, Midnight in Paris, anyone. Women too. This is not a unisex fragrance. This is classified as a men's fragrance, but I really think women can wear this, pull this off really well, especially the Eau de Toilette version. There is floral undertones in the dry down of Midnight in Paris, which I will tackle, of course, when I dissect it. How many sprays and wear with the EDP version? I go one on the chest, one on the back of the neck, and two on my arms. One on each pulse point. I'm good to go. 4 sprays. Let's take a look at the note breakdown of this fragrance. In the top we got holly, rosemary, bergamot, leather, and Amalfi lemons. In the mid we got styrax, lily of the valley, and tea. And in the base we got incense, benzoin, almond, and tonka bean. Lots of tonka in this fragrance. So guys, let's get to sniffing. Let's sniff out Midnight in Paris. Time to sniff out Midnight in Paris. I'm gonna dissect this fragrance, guys, from top to bottom for all of you. I'm going to do one more initial spray on my hand to remind me of the introduction of this fragrance. And yeah, first thing that hits you, bergamot, leather notes, a little bit of tea, some smokiness, a little bit of smokiness in here. So from first sniff, you're going to get that citrus, but it's going to be almost overshadowed by the base and the mid notes of this fragrance. They really pop and they really jump in the EDP version of this fragrance. They really just take over the fragrance. So I get a really short-lived bergamot. I didn't get much of the Amalfi lemons, actually none at all. I know in the Eau de Toilette you get it gets stretched out a little more. You get a little more of the citrus. In here you get more, it's a little darker, it's a little denser. The mid and base are coming out and eating that introduction basically. So less than 5 minutes you're going to get that bergamot, but it slowly, actually quickly dies down. 5 minutes, then you never smell it again in this fragrance. The blending in Midnight in Paris in the intro really brought me back to Bulgari Black. A lot of your favorite reviewers are going to say it reminds them of Bulgari Black. It has that backbone, guys. They both have tea-like feeling from both. You get a vanilla-like feeling from both, of course, and you get that synthetic leather note. Now, the leather in Midnight in Paris and Bulgari Black are different. They're the same, but different at the same time. And I'll get more into that in my overview, of course, and compare them both. Now, to the scent itself. Now, what do you smell in the intro? There's a smooth tea-like note in here. It's almost green, not black tea like Bulgari, but almost like a green tea-like note. You do get a tea-like note. It's mixed with a huge cloud of your backbone of this fragrance. The creamy tonka is coming out right from the get-go. You get that synthetic leather and the benzoin. These three are your backbone in Midnight in Paris. And you're going to have that huge cloud. You're going to get a small pinch of green rosemary in this introduction, which could give you that green tea-like feel. So there might be a tea-like note and something else is making it green. That could be that rosemary. Now the leather here was almost the same effect as it did in black. Almost rubbery. Not as rubbery as black. I really felt it was a little cleaner. It wasn't as punched up. It was cleaner. Matched with the tea, it really does do a great effect in a fragrance. I really enjoyed what Black did and Midnight in Paris did with those two notes. You'll tend to start smelling that powdery, sweet vanilla-like feel right away, which will take over in the mid. Now this is, of course, from that benzoin tonka combo. It really kind of gives you a vanilla, powdery-like feel. I felt a bit of smoke here, just a bit. Some don't, but I do smell a bit of it, almost like some smoke from your tea. That's basically how I could say it. It's not like a bonfire smoke, just enough from your tea. It almost kind of felt like a vanilla bean tea kind of roasting there. Yeah, vanilla bean. Not too sweet, but just enough for those with a sweet tooth. Also, Tonka lovers will really get into this scent. I really think this is a Tonka-based fragrance. I really feel like it's going against the top sellers out there, Armani Code, La Nuit de l'Homme, The Autumn Intense. That kind of vibe you're going to get from Midnight in Paris, the EDP version, more of a nighttime scent. So let's get into the mid of Midnight in Paris. This is where we're going to lose half of the male population here and gain half of the woman's population. The Lily of the Valley tea, vanilla-like combo in this mid will make you think of many powdery scents that Pudge has made. He has made a lot of floral scents in his heyday, namely Kenzo Power, Dior. It's going to remind you of that a bit, but this one has much more to it. It kind of camouflages the powdery floral-like feel in this fragrance with a much more masculine notes kind of surrounding that fragrance. Really, really nice. The leather's still around, but starts fading, and it has a smoothness to it. It's not bold, but just enough to man up the fragrance in the mid. It truly has a great blend. It seems like the backbone of this fragrance slowly pitches a little higher with time. Beautiful deep mesh of notes. The benzoin Tonka combo never really let up, like I said at the top, and it continues here. Here you'll feel like it's very vanilla-like, powdery, with subtle leather notes. The almond kind of comes up from the Tonka, pinches up a bit here in the mid, and kind of reminisce of Givenchy's pie, that vanilla almond-like feel in the dry down of Givenchy's pie. An excellent blend of feminine, masculine notes kind of meshing together. The best way to describe the feminine floral blend is from The Autumn Intense. I really think like it took the feminine floral, the iris of course in The Autumn Intense, but blended with a Tonka enough to mask it and make it masculine enough. It has a pinch of gourmand tendencies, but not enough to classify it as such. The real stars here in the mid are the subtle leather, the Tonka bean, and the benzoin. Now, in the base of Midnight in Paris, this one ends with the big backbone notes, the Tonka, the benzoin. Kind of still has a vanilla powdery feel, yet kind of creamy from the Tonka. Nice little almond nuttiness, of course, again from the Tonka, and just a dash of incense to top off this ending. Guys, let's get to the overview of Midnight in Paris. Welcome to my overview on Midnight in Paris. I'm going to tackle the two comparisons because I know a lot of you out there want to know how does this compare to Bulgari Black, and of course, how does this version compare to the Eau de Toilette version? So let's get into it. The Eau de Toilette versus the Eau de Parfum. Now the Eau de Toilette has much more citrus up top and the rosemary. I really felt like the introduction, it kind of felt like it was more of a daytime to nighttime fragrance. It has a little more to it. The Eau de Parfum is stronger, it's denser, heavier, and emphasizes on more of the base notes and the mid notes, so it's really going to be more of a nighttime scent in my opinion. Now, comparing it to Bulgari Black, this one's much smoother than Black in my opinion, but the blueprints to both is very similar. Black's a little more out of control. I really felt like the vanilla and the leather really popped in Bulgari Black. In this one, it was softer, more elegant, easier to wear, and probably a little easier to love. Bulgari Black has those high-pitched notes, that leather and that vanilla, they're really high-pitched, in your face. This one much smoother. Now, Midnight in Paris EDP is very warm, comforting scent, but still light, not too heavy, which can make it a great signature scent for someone. This is a Tonka heavy scent, which isn't really unique in my opinion. I really feel like in these past like 5 to several years, these Tonka scents are coming out more and more. It has been very popular in the men's game and selling actually really well. You'll find that this scent brings to memory many scents that you may have smelt before. This is as balmy as it gets, guys. It delivers a creamy, balmy feeling all the way throughout this fragrance. The only downside to balmy scents, I feel they don't do really well in the high heat. So summer days, put it away. Summer nights, maybe bring it up. This one has great depth, high-end notes for the price. It's hard to find another scent like this at the price point at discounters. I really feel like at discounters this fragrance is, you know, $75 to less. You can't go wrong with that type of pricing. For what I paid for it, I'd still gladly pay what I paid for it. Now, why would you hate this fragrance? The balmy, creamy feeling, that powdery feeling to this fragrance might not be for you. The leather, it's not an authentic leather, guys. This is more of a synthetic leather like Bulgari Black and this one, of course. Unisex feeling, almost feminine. That could be a reason why you would hate this fragrance. So if you don't like Dior or Dior Intense as an example, this is probably not up your alley. Linear. This one, the EDP, doesn't really have much going on. Like I said, the base and mid notes really attack you from the get-go, and they just give you a little bit of a mishmash here, but really a linear scent. Bottles. This reminds me, of course, of Bulgari Black. Dior Intense. Kenzo Power has a little bit of that Kenzo Power feeling, of course, from Pudge. Armani Code, Givenchy's Pie, La Nuit de l'Homme, that type of feeling. Best time to wear this fragrance, Midnight in Paris, I felt was signature scent worthy, especially for any men out there or women out there that lives in a cooler climate like myself in Canada. I think this can be signature scent worthy. I absolutely love wearing this more in the evening than a daily use. I don't think this is a daily use scent. A lot of people said that this is an upscale fragrance that you'd wear with like a shirt and a tie or a suit. I disagree. I really think this can be worn with a suit, of course, but I think it can be worn also casually, going out in the evening with jeans and a t-shirt. I think this is a perfect jeans and a t-shirt, even a leather jacket. If you got a leather jacket on top, perfect. I really think this was great for that. A date scent, yes. Really intriguing scent that will bring somebody closer to you, yes, perfect. Compliment factor. Midnight in Paris was mid to high. I really think that a lot of people out there are getting that this smells like women. I didn't really get that from this fragrance when I was asking around. My wife loves this fragrance, really well done. So mid to high compliment factor. I really had a really good response with this one. Now my 2 cents on Midnight in Paris, the Eau de Parfum edition. This one is, of course, well known, well loved in our community. Now, outside the community, this one is rare. Not a lot of people that don't know much about fragrances are going to know about Midnight in Paris. And this one is something to check out. It's different enough from a lot of Tonka heavy top sellers like La Nuit de l'Homme, we got Dior Intense and Armani Code. It's different enough from those, but close enough that it really will garner you a lot of compliments like those top sellers. I feel that probably 50% of the men here might not like that powdery feeling in here. Now, honestly, to me, it doesn't bother me. It's great. Then again, you got to know my taste. I love Dior. I love Kenzo Power. I like powdery scents like Burberry Brit, but this one has a different edge to it. I really consider this like a Dior Intense feel. I consider this fragrance one to go against those top sellers, DHI, Armani Code, La Nuit de l'Homme. And it fared pretty well against them. I really could pick this up instead of one of those. Yeah, why not? If the price is right, I would. Those are all top sellers in their respective brands. And I paid retail for this one at $115. For under 50 bucks for this at a discounter, when I saw that, I was just, my eyes got big. I wouldn't blink twice to pull the trigger on this one. It's a superb scent, and it should get much more love than it does. So guys, this goes to buy, try, or pass on Midnight in Paris, the Eau de Parfum edition. This is a star, guys. This is a definite buy. There's a reason why there's stars on here. It's a star. So this is a buy. Guys, let's get to the rating system and see how Midnight in Paris, the Eau de Parfum edition, does against the rest. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, let's rate Midnight in Paris Projection. 8 bottles out of 10. Really solid. A really good scent cloud with this one. This is one of those fragrances. Sometimes it's beast mode on my skin as far as projection goes, and sometimes it just comes and goes. Longevity, 8 bottles out of 10. Again, solid. 7 to 9 hours any given wearing, sometimes 9+ hours. Versatility, again, great score. 9 bottles out of 10. Really solid. I really think this is one of those fragrances that you can wear year round. Overall smell, excellent. I have no qualms about this fragrance. 10 out of 10. Seasons, mostly a cool weather frag, so fall and winter mostly, but spring and summer nights I can pull this one off. It's an excellent unisex scent for me, not for everyone. Mostly the powder is going to bug you. And then a great blend. Overall, this one gets 9 bottles out of 10.